I know. We're late. That was my bad. Actually, I'm blaming Le'Veon Bell because he told the funniest story. I had to clip that and edit it for for the sensitive ears that are listening. But we're gonna be talking about that. We might have to start that one a little early because that one I can't wait to talk about that story. But what is going on, LBHT crew? B, what's going on?
I don't know, man. Just another week on top of the NFL. It feels good, and can't wait for it to translate to September. But we riding high right now.
Facts. And same with the Ravens. I know.
Don't co-opt
See,
it.
they go. Listen, B. Listen.
Don't co-opt it.
Congratulations on making it back to the playoffs, but let's not overdo it here. Okay, let's not overdo it. All right.
Or I should say, good luck on your attempt to make it back to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
no. Overall, I am feeling good about the Ravens.
yes.
The center position is something that is a concern, but I actually want to discuss that because EDC said today that there might be some other plans in place for that. So we'll discuss that. We're going to go over the draft one more time. I know me and B gave our initial grades. We graded our initial grades right after the draft. Now there's been a few days in between, and things got to settle in. We'll go over the players, and we'll give our updated draft, and we want to hear from you guys, and we'll discuss that. But there's a lot to discuss here. There's a lot to discuss, but let me say good evening to the chat. I won't say good morning because we've been saying good morning for the last 3 days on the morning show, but it is good evening, and we got Urban in the house. As RG3 sent me.
And I did mention that we did get a cash app from Noah. Thank you very much, Noah.
Salute to Noah.
As always, looking forward to seeing the LBHT crew. Hey, hashtag.
I hit your I'm not sure if that's coming from. Does B sound okay on your end, guys? It sounds a little weird on mine.
Weird how?
I don't know. A little staticky. If he sounds fine, then it's my end. I'll fix it. No worries. Let's see. We got Bazel in the house. No. You said he sent a cash app. Let me.
Yes. Noah.
Thank you, Noah. You get one of these, Noah. Salute to you. Appreciate that. All right. Read some of these comments real quick. I'm just going to reset my reset my little audio box here.
Okay. Well, that's going to be difficult. All right. Let's see who we got in here. We've got Devin. Hello, good people. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate that. Let's see. You back?
Yep. Yeah.
JR, he says, I sound good. Thank you very much, JR. Appreciate that.
All right. Thank you. He says, yeah, you sound good. That was definitely me. I fixed
Hendo says, what up? What's going on, Hendo?
We got Devin in the house. Konnichiwa, Devin. Who else was here? We got Killer in the house. Says, hola, Jose. And mucho gusto, Brodny.
Nice to meet you, Cam.
JR, what up? Chef Marvelous, salute. Stacy in the house. Agnes is here. What's going on, Agnes?
What's going on?
Hey, thanks for coming through. Appreciate that. RJ Trap, I see you. Carmela Moody, salute. Who else we got in here? Reese. What's going on, Reese? Appreciate y'all. All right. Don DeWan, salute. I really appreciate y'all coming through and supporting all of our videos and streams and whatnot, especially now that the draft is done. This is the time frame where I expect things to kind of calm down. You guys go out and do things. The weather's getting warmer, right? Mm-hmm. But check in every now and then and see what's going on, because we'll be here. We'll be here every Wednesday. All right. But man, trying to make it like Hendo and LBHT. Oh, you gonna make it, Urban. You gonna make it. All right. And y'all go support Urban. I don't think they can drop links, but let people know where they can find your work, Urban. He made some dope beats. And if you listen to Coach's show, you will often hear his music playing in the background. So go support his work. All right. Yes. So we're going to go over the draft. We'll go over some of the players that we like, some, that we don't like, and, possible free agent moves that could be made afterwards, because the Ravens still have work to do. And we'll hit on some other news. I threw a little hint out there earlier. I teased the Le'Veon Bell story. You don't want to miss that. And we're going to talk about thank you, Adelia. Okay, Adelia dropped the link to Urban's channel right there. Appreciate that. What's up, Danity? Appreciate you coming through. She says, welcome to the chat. Thank you all so much for joining. Please support with a like, hype, and subscribe. The super chats are available, and the Cash App, $ LBHTShow, hashtag road to 4K. I do want to say this too, as people are still coming in. Osmond, salute. LBHTShow.com. Go sign up for the newsletter. We fixed the issue from last week. The people that are already signed up should have gotten a newsletter this week. I know the first week they didn't do it. I fixed that. Apologize for that, but you should have it. You should have had it this week. Every Monday at noon, we're going to put out a newsletter. Inside the newsletter, we'll have a poll, and we'll read the results of the poll on Wednesday's show. All right. So LBHTShow.com is free. Just scroll down to the bottom of the page, put your email address in there, and you'll get the newsletter every Monday at noon. Greg Carter, salute. Kyle Robbins, salute. Okay. We in here. All right. So, all right.
And a big thank you and shout out to our newest patron, Ronnie. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for signing up.
Hey, you know what? Because Ronnie signed up for Patreon, I'm going to give him one of these as well. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. We're going to get right into it because we started late. Y'all ready to discuss this. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact. And B and Nicole have a Black History fact for you.
This week on the LBHT Black History Fact, Frank Sinatra emerged as one of the most vocal white entertainers pushing for civil rights during the mid-20th century. And he used his fame to challenge segregation wherever he encountered it. He refused to perform in clubs, casinos, or theaters that barred black guests or artists. And he walked away from lucrative contracts when venues tried to enforce racist policies. His influence was especially powerful in Las Vegas, where he insisted that black performers receive the same rooms, service, and access as their white counterparts. That pressure helped force the city's major resorts to desegregate years before federal law required it. Sinatra also made a point of elevating black talent in the entertainment industry. He championed musicians who were often shut out of mainstream opportunities, supported integrated orchestras, and helped Sammy Davis Jr. break through barriers as a full member of the Rat Pack. Beyond his professional choices, he spoke openly against racism, delivering blunt public remarks that called out prejudice and urged Americans to confront their own biases. He backed those words with financial support for civil rights causes and political candidates who aligned with racial equality. His activism extended into his artistic work as well. The House I Live In, a short film condemning bigotry, earned him an honorary Oscar and became one of Hollywood's earliest anti-racist statements. Taken together, Sinatra's actions, public, private, artistic, and political, made him a rare figure in his era. A superstar willing to risk money, reputation, and industry relationships to push for a more integrated and equitable America.
All right. Salute to the Black History Fact.
Thank you to Osmond for sending that in this week. Appreciate you.
Yes, appreciate that. If you're trying to watch on Facebook, there's some issue that they're having. That's on Facebook side. So,
yeah. And if you're trying to watch on Facebook, stop. and just come over to YouTube also.
Yeah, we can't control that.
Also,
that's definitely a Facebook thing.
Sorry about the loud music there. I didn't get a chance to turn down the volume. I forgot to do it this week because my job made me work another 8 hours today. It is
Oh
getting
no! Oh
it is
no!
getting out of control.
Oh no!
Out of control.
I work a full 8 hours in a day. Oh,
I mean, 8-ish, but like it was real close. I did not appreciate
it. All right, look, Adelia, whenever you're ready, we can put up the poll. All right, we're gonna ask the question. They is right there. How did the Ravens and Panthers do in the draft? All right, and you have multiple options here. Okay, one is type 1 in the chat for good, 2 for not so good, 3 Ravens good, Panthers not so much, 4 Panthers good, Ravens not so much. All right, so you have multiple options there.
And don't be afraid to tell the truth. You don't have to lump Baltimore in with Carolina to spare Jose's feelings. He's fine.
Oh, spare Jose's feelings. Okay.
Pray for B.
Pray for B. Yes, pray for B. Yes, because whew.
It's rough, man. It's rough.
It's been a while. He's trying to remember how to do it. Okay, we got the first vote in there. All right, appreciate that. And we got a super chat. Thank you, Tony. Says, "Hey, Brodny, I trust the new regime, but not it cost us."
Thank you very much, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So we discussed the Ravens and what we like, what we didn't like. We also did it on the Jose and Hendo in the morning show, and it was hilarious because we just finished talking about. We gave it at least a B. I gave it a B.
Yeah.
And somebody said we're being too negative. The show's always negative. I'm like, what's a B to you? Like,
not
geez,
good enough.
Like, not good enough, I guess. B is for bums, I guess. Look, we all love the Venga pick, right? And you know what? I probably shouldn't. If you take this graphic down, this is brand new. If you take it down, will the poll go away, Adelia? Can they still vote? I'm not sure because I wanted to put up the.
Yes, they can still vote.
Okay, all right, cool. Keep voting. You saw your options there. Just keep voting in the chat. We'll put it back up later. But let's put up the graphic on the Ravens draft class. There it is.
Disgusting. Look at all that. Look at all those names, all those just random letters. Like, and I want to draw your attention to the fact that the good rounds stop, right above the Ravens' beak there. Everything that happens below it is the worthless rounds. So why do you have so many picks there?
You don't
and
know
not
that.
A lot of picks up here. I'm just saying. First round, Vega out of Penn State, outstanding pick. Home run pick right there.
Home run pick. Yes.
Second round.
Well, not just it was a home run pick, right? Like for a talent, but they drafted an absolute need.
Yes.
All right. But let's pause the show for a second because Tracy is here. What's going on, Tracy? Thanks for coming through. Always happy to see you. No, like it was a need, right?
Yeah.
Like I know they were tempted to go edge rusher or trade back and see who was left because they basically said the top 3 were Vega, Kenyon Sadiq, and Ruben Bain. They would have been happy with any one of those 3. And it's always this value thing. But you got to fill that need.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't bring back Tyler Linderbaum. Whoever ends up at center is going to be not as good, right? Not saying bad, but not as good. There's a downgrade there. John Simpson, already not good, right? There's no other way to put it. You got to have some talent on that O-line somewhere.
Yeah.
And
now they do.
Now they do. Yes.
Now they do. Second round, Zion Young, edge rusher out of Missouri. The more I think about it, the more I'm going to say another home run pick here. I wasn't 100% on board with it. I thought they should have gone interior D-line. That they are pretty thin there, especially if Matabike is not ready to go day one. But Zion Young has the attitude that the Ravens defense has been sorely missing for years, probably since Marcus Peters. he's the guy that's going to bring the edge. He's the guy that's going to get everybody else going. And honestly, we should see with the addition of Minter, with Anthony Weaver as a defensive coordinator, and then coming in with a player like Zion with that kind of attitude, you should see the Ravens defense, becoming a fearsome unit again.
Yeah. I felt like they should have gone either another guard here or center. And I know people thinking, hey, you can't go guard back to back. Listen, man, I know people like Emory Jones, but you know how I feel about projecting players here, right? And Emory Jones was a tackle in college. So even if we got a guard here to play the other side, Emory Jones, maybe we can make him the swing tackle, and later on beat up the left tackle or something like that. Or he could just beat out one of these guys, whatever. Mm-hmm. But interior O-line is where I wanted to go. But man, Zion Young B is absolutely right. We need somebody like this to bring that energy, and he is a ball of energy, right? And I don't think I know he's not, as polished as Reese and Bain and all that, but with this coaching staff, I mean, listen, man, like Jesse Minter, all the players on Chargers last year, they gave him high praise. We saw single-handedly what he did with Owe as soon as he left here.
Yeah,
from 0 sacks to 10 sacks. That's crazy. He knows how to put players in the right position. He knows how to teach the game to these guys. So I don't think he's going to get off to the same slow start that Mike Green got off to last year. I think he's going to hit the ground running, and that, like, you cannot be mad at this pick. I love it.
I kind of want to lump these next three together because that's kind of what it struck me during the draft. You got the third round, Jacoby Lane, the wide receiver out of USC. Fourth round, they came back with Elijah Surratt, the wide receiver out of Indiana by way of Baltimore. And then fourth round, Matthew Hibner, the tight end out of SMU. And what this represented to me, not that any of these guys were my favorite at their positions, but it represented EDC kind of taking a different tact in the draft, going in a different direction and really leaning into the offense and trying to get some playmakers around Lamar. Now, how that ultimately works out is going to depend, obviously on these guys' talent, but also how the coaching staff decides to use them, and, also some luck with injuries, things like that. But I think it's very, very positive that he was that he went pass catcher 3 rounds or 3 picks in a row.
Yeah, I mean, look, 4 out of the first 5 picks were offense, right? Mm-hmm. That is not typical here in Baltimore. And, we said that, like, that was the side of the ball where they kind of just let everybody go. And somebody has, like, they had to fill these spots, So if they didn't go that way in the draft, it'd have been tough. And it still might be tough because I'm not expecting all these guys to come out right away and contribute.
No.
Now, in terms of, like, not the people that you were selected. Yes, Jacoby Lane is the big one that that we feel like, in terms of, like, us and the Ravens roundup, we're just kind of like, don't know about that one, right? But I think his ceiling is higher. He has a lot of potential there, and I see why they wanted to grab him and work with him. Elijah Surratt seems like he's ready to hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm.
Right, a lot more polished there, and I think he can be a big impact right away. Hibner, don't know much about him. I know he played for Michigan before he went to SMU, right? I think he played for Minter, or
yes.
played with played for Minter there. So, and then of course later on we got Cuevas. We can talk about him too. So yeah, they went heavy on offense in this draft. Now we just gotta wait and see how they play. But I like the ambition here. I like that they went back-to-back wide receivers, and that tells me that they think highly of these specific wide receivers. They knew exactly who they wanted to get, and they have a plan for what they want to do with them.
Yeah. The one thing that I did not like about the Hibner pick, and also these 5th-round picks that are coming up here. You had Chandler Rivers, the corner out of Duke, Josh Cuevas, tight end out of Alabama, and Adam Randall, who was picked famously by the owner, Bisciotti. The only thing I don't like there is they did have a chance to take a pretty good center prospect with one of those picks, and they passed on the center with all of them, right?
Yeah.
Chandler Rivers has gotten a lot of praise. A lot of people really like his game. I'm not really a fan of 5'9" corners. Like, I think that, we always talk about sizes and a skill, but it's absolutely an advantage, right? So it's just going to be, if you're a smaller guy, it's just going to be more difficult to cover some of these bigger receivers. That's just the way it is. But, everybody says he does have the ability. Now he's just got to go out there and prove it, obviously. Cuevas, I don't know a whole lot about, but he's going to be the third tight end anyway. He's going to be,
now,
he's going to be out there kind of, I think, mainly in a blocking role, honestly. Adam Randall, the 230-pound running back, formerly a wide receiver. Everybody's kind of hoping he can contribute in the pass game. And, obviously in the run game as well. But, being out there and kind of spelling Derrick Henry and giving the defenses a little bit of a different look. And again, adding some more to the pass game than they've had from the running back position recently. Then they drafted a punter.
Yep.
So yeah.
So moving on to the 7th round, Rashawn Benny. But no, so look, going back to Chandler Rivers, I hear what you're saying about the size, and yes, it is an advantage. But man, I watched a few of his games. He can play. He can play. Like, he's a very smart player, and you could tell, like, because the way he jumped a lot of those screen passes, even at the interceptions that he gets, like, he watches film, right? And I think because of his size, right, even like the disadvantages, he's shorter, but I think it helps him in other areas because he understands, like, hey, I got to make up for it, right? I have to really know where to be out here. So I think he might spend a little bit more time watching tape and learning guys' tendencies and everything, because he is very hard to shake, B.
Look, and that's great, but it's one thing to be hard to shake in the ACC, and another thing to be hard to shake in the NFL, which is a common theme. That's what we're going to be talking about with one of the Panthers draft picks coming up here pretty soon as well.
Yeah, I mean, we can say that for all these players for sure, definitely. But it's good to see that on his tape that he has good technique and just around the ball a lot.
7th round, Rashawn Benny, defensive tackle out of Michigan, and Evan Bernstein, guard out of Northwestern. I know these guys, particularly Benny, has some fans out there, but their picks 10 and 11 of an 11-person draft on a team that doesn't really have a ton of roster spots necessarily. I think that it's a long shot for either one of them to make the roster, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, Rashawn being a 7th round pick, or them waiting until the 7th round to take the interior defensive lineman was kind of surprising as well.
Yeah. All right, we can bring this down, but we'll talk about this. So, yes, the Adam Randall pick that was Steve Bisciotti's pick, and there's a lot of excitement with that pick because he's only played running back for 1 year, played well. There's obviously some holes in his game, but a bigger athletic running back who used to be a wide receiver, converted when he got to Clemson. And a lot of people see a potential superstar in him. I personally don't see superstar. I don't see superstar, but you never know. Like, I mean, that's the type of running back that could become that, right? Because he's only played for 1 year, we don't really know what his strength and weaknesses are. You know what I mean? Because he's still kind of developing there. But we'll see. In that round, I'm not mad at it. And there's a poll again, so go ahead and vote right there. How do you feel about the Ravens and Panthers? And there's multiple options there. Type 1 for good, 2 not so good, 3 Ravens good, Panthers not so much, 4 Panthers good, Ravens not so much. So put your votes in. Type 1, 2, or 3 in the chat. Like the center position, I'm with you. I do not like that they didn't go center. That's why I just can't give it an A. and there is cause for concern there, right? EDC, talked about how there were centers that he was looking at, but they went higher than he thought. And this is something that I'm sick of hearing from the Ravens. This predates EDC. This is something Ozzie used to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we liked some wide receivers, but they went higher than we thought they would go. You can't say that every year. You can't say that every year. You can't miss out on guys. When you see a run on a position, you have to adjust accordingly. And I believe he mentioned possibly trading up in the third round for another center, but he didn't want to give up the draft capital to go up there and get it. Why?
Because
yeah. So I mean, that's when you have. And I understand the value thing, right? Because they'll say, hey, at that you don't want to take one at 45 because of the value. Did you see one that you thought could come in and start right away? If the answer is no, if you say, hey, I like somebody, but he wouldn't have been ready, day one to really compete for that, he needs a little time, I understand that. But if you saw 1, 2, or 3 that you thought they could come in and start day one, you can't wait until the third round. It doesn't work that way with offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Even centers.
Yeah.
We got a super chat from Tony. Appreciate you, Tony. Says, be like they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. BB like, yeah, like Dennis Green. Yes.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I do want to point out so far in the poll, it is a 100% consensus that the Panthers knocked it out of the park. Not so much. Yes, it is.
No, it's 80%. It's
80% said good, and then 20% said Panthers good. Ravens not so much. Everybody said the Panthers did well. 100% of the people who voted said the Panthers did well. Not so much for the Baltimore Ravens, and that's okay. But I think that somebody asked in the chat, what do you think about them signing Diego Pounds, the tackle? And I think about Diego Pounds what I think about all other UDFAs. It's interesting.
Nothing.
Let me know when they make the team, and then I'll be excited. I don't care until they make the roster, because there's all kinds of names that don't get drafted. People get excited about it, and then they get cut, and you never hear from them again. Like every now and then, guys will make the team and make a big impact. More commonly, they'll make the team and just kind of be part of the roster. But once he actually makes the team, then then it's time to start potentially getting excited about him.
Yeah. I know when we're leading up to the draft, we all do mock drafts. You'll look at different scouting reports, right? Draft Twitter. This is that. Listen, this time of year, draft Twitter, it gets hot in those streets, man. Everybody's pushing their scouting reports, their mock drafts, and analysis and all that stuff. So they'll tell you about certain players, and you feel like, man, I trust this person's work, and this is somebody that we should target. And when they go late or they go undrafted and we pick them up, we're like, man, we got to steal there. We got to steal. That's how we feel. But the NFL don't feel that way about them.
Yeah.
So even if they might actually be able to play, it's about opportunity at that point. And UDFAs, most of the time, they're not going to get the opportunity.
Well, and also like people who do this scouting on online, draft Twitter as they're called, they're overly optimistic. They don't like to be negative about players, and that's fine. But they'll end up telling you that guys, have a ton of ability when they just don't really, where it just doesn't translate, and or they can play on a lower level league or something like that, but they don't want to be negative. They tell you what these guys can do, and they say, hey, if they reach their absolute potential, then this is what they could be, and it's fine, but most of the time players are not going to pan out that way.
Yeah. Agnes loves the Bishotti pick. Says Bishotti knows how to pick. That man's going to be a beast. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Like and subscribe. Oh, that's a what was his name? Tariq. What's
Yes.
going on? What's going on? Chandler Jones was a steal. He was a day 2 pick. Also, size does not give you the ability to cover. Being big isn't an advantage if your cover skills suck. Facts. But size gives you an advantage, right?
Yeah.
It's not everything though. You're absolutely right. It's not everything.
Right. And more specifically, it wasn't about the corners. It was about Jamar Chase is 6 feet tall. What is he going to do? Like, if he's covering Jamar Chase, he's at a disadvantage covering Jamar Chase. Jamar is just a bigger guy than him. It's just going to be difficult.
Yeah. But that's okay. That's okay. If he has all the other tools, he's gonna work out.
Yeah, no, he'll work out. But I'm just saying, like, it's going to be hard covering those top tier receivers regardless, right? Like DK is what 6'4", 6'3", whatever he is. Like there's just a lot of bigger receivers in the league that he's going to struggle covering because of his size. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But
he'll probably mainly be playing out the slot.
Yeah, sure. Sure. But that's one thing that other teams could potentially attempt to target if they have the personnel to do it. Which not.
I did want to. Did they mean Diego Pounds or Diego Pavia? I forgot we signed.
Yeah.
Pavia.
I don't think anything about them signing Diego Pavia.
I know, that report, that breaking news came out that we signed him to a 3-year deal. That's just a UDFA deal. It's not a actual 3-year deal. He's not going to be on the team. He's not gonna actually be on the team.
The fact that I immediately assumed that you meant Diego Pounds tells you what I think about the Diego Pavia signing.
Yeah, I don't think anything of it. So Luke K says it was important for Bashai to have a pick. So I said it this morning, right? Like, well, let me ask y'all: do y'all feel good about Bashai making a pick there? I mean, you guys like the player. Do you feel good about Bashai making a pick? King Trent says, what do you guys think of the Ravens signing Diego? Oh, okay, that's the one. Okay, yeah. I think that's what you're talking about, Diego Pavia. That's just it's just a UDFA signing. He's not going to actually be there. Sashi probably signed Diego. Listen, that Bashadi pick, although I like the potential there, I think he did his due diligence, and I respect that. That's just another sign that we had too many picks. It's just another sign that we had too many draft picks. We drafted a punter. That's the first sign that we had too many draft picks. You don't draft punters. Sorry, you just don't. And your owner gets to get a pick because you have too many.
Yeah, because are you a hands-off owner or are you not? Hands-off owners don't get in the war room and make a pick.
Yeah. Well, listen, game too easy said Bashadi chose Lamar.
There's a little bit of a difference.
He didn't say they didn't say, hey, Bashadi, what you think? You go ahead and you just do the first round, you do the homework and everything, and you submit that card. That was, they all scouted him, they all had him on the board, and he kind of let them know you need to make this pick Lamar.
Yeah, and every owner has a say who is going to be the face of their franchise. Adam Randall's not the face of anything.
Right. This is, hey, can I get one of those picks? Yeah, let's have some fun. Let me get one of these picks. I'll do all the work, And
he talked about it was him and was it DaCosta's son or somebody, somebody that he was kind of scouting him with, and they did it together, and it was like it was a throwaway pick.
Right. And this isn't the first time we've done that, right? T. Martin got the pick, the dude Leary, the quarterback, and that's the problem I have with all these picks, right? We talk about, you get more chances to get quality players, this and that, but then you're giving away picks for other people to play around with. That's what he's doing. Like, he might be right about Adam Randall, but you're playing around with the pick.
I don't have a problem with you letting scouts or coaches make picks. But again, like you're saying, the only reason you're doing it is because you have so many picks that you just, like, EDC was out of people to pick, essentially. Right. And he was like, yeah, I don't care what you do with this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So what do you mean you can't package picks to move up and get a center? What are you talking about? Like and subscribe says, I think Bashadi should have 2 picks next year. This was an excellent pick, a mixture of Latavius Murray and Derrick Henry, 2 back formations with him and Henry, flex him to wide receiver, gold. There's a lot of potential there. I don't know if he's going to be all that this year. Again, this will only be about his second year playing running back. So there's a lot of development there. And there's no rush to get him out there on the field. But yeah, no, I like the potential there for sure. I like the potential. And I hear you. Like he might have hit a home run on that one, but it still just represents that we had way too many draft picks when you can just give them away like that. Kwame, what's going on, says, I think it's inclusive to allow others to pick. I like it. Not when you have holes to fill, not when you're banking on the draft to fill those holes. I don't. Yeah, I mean, to say it's inclusive, the draft process is inclusive. You get input from everybody, right?
Yeah.
But it's your job as a GM to finalize that and make those picks. If you're saying, all right, I'm going to pick 5, you do 2, you do 2, you do 1, whatever, that's not how it's supposed to work. Right. So, okay. So if he kills it, right, Adam Randall is that guy. Are we saying EDC cooking? Right? He didn't make the pick.
Or if you think it's a good process and being inclusive, would you have felt that way if he made the second round pick? It's all well and good when it's a late 5th and nobody really cares who you draft there. You don't know most of the people who are getting drafted anyway. It's a whole other ball game if it's earlier in the draft, right?
Yeah. Well, if it was the first round, he said trade back and then let's just get Kenyon Sadiq.
Kind of a jerk then, but that's all right.
All right, keep voting in the poll. Type 1, 2, or 3, 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat. Keep voting. I want to know how you guys feel about this draft. You see it right below my face there. Good, not so good. Ravens good, Panthers not so much. Panthers good, Ravens not so much. Those are your options there. All right. Then he'd be Jerry Jones. Exactly, Kwame. Exactly.
And nobody likes that.
Right. And okay. Also, I asked this earlier. Well, one, all right, we gave our grades on Saturday, right after the draft. Does your grade hold up? You gave it a B+.
Yeah, I still think it's a B+. I like the Zion Young pick more now than I did then, and like I said, the thing that drags it down a bit is you didn't really address interior defensive line, and they did not address center when they had the opportunity to do so for both. So that's what keeps it from being an A. But I thought they did very well.
Yeah, I give it a B for the same reasons, but I'm grading harsher for not getting a center when you have 11 picks, right? Mm-hmm. And EDC addressed that after the draft. I saw a quote from him today about how it's something that they missed out on and they need to address it. And he's showing signs of concern. So for people that are like, oh, they have the guy, or they're gonna figure it out. He's telling us that's a concern of theirs. He even mentioned the possibility of trading for a center, which that's interesting. We're gonna get to that in a second, but that's interesting because maybe he might have something. He might have an idea of someplace he can go to trade for a center. But we'll talk about that in a second. My grade still a B. The Zion Young, I don't really deduct that many points for that because I love the player. But go all those picks and you don't get a center at all. But you draft a punter. Mm-hmm. I just you don't trade up yeah. But overall, I like the potential of a lot of these players. Now, the second question. This is a 2-answer question. I asked it this morning. I asked it yesterday on Coach's show on the Ravens Roundup. Out of these 11 picks, how many of these? Because everybody loves everybody, right? How many of these players do you think are going to work out for the team? And how many of these players do you think the Ravens will re-sign?
They're going to re-sign Vega. I think Zion will work out. I think Surratt will work out. I think one of the tight ends will work out, probably Hibner, but I don't think they get re-signed. I think probably if I had to bet on who was going to make it out of this class, it would be Vega, Zion, probably Surratt, and Hibner.
So you think 4 will be re-signed?
No. I think those will be like the quality players from this draft, right? I think that those will end up being starting quality players. I mean, you'll get contributions from other guys, obviously, but they're not going to be long-term players. They're not going to be guys who stick in the league for very long. I think if we're talking about the guys who will end up being starters in the league, getting those second contracts, whether it's in Baltimore or somewhere else, I think it'll be those 4: Vega, Zion, Surratt, and Hibner.
Okay. I want you guys to put 2 numbers in the chat. The first one, how many do you think are going to work out for the team? And work out meaning like really contribute to the team. I'm not talking about he played special teams, he contributed. I'm talking about really contribute.
Punter don't count. Just to be clear, I'm not counting the punter just because.
But we signed a punter, didn't we?
I tell you, I don't think you did. I don't remember them signing a punter. But
Chad, did we sign a punter? I could have sworn we signed a punter. And if the answer is yes, this punter ain't gonna make the team.
Right.
Right. So Tony says 6 and 4. So 6 is gonna work out, 4 are gonna get re-signed. All right, that's what I want to see. Let me know. Yeah, Tyreek said we did. This punter's not making the team.
Okay. I don't remember them signing a punter, but if you did, that's unfortunate for this kid.
Yeah. Okay, 4 and 5. 5 and 4. Okay. All right. Yeah, we signed a punter. Stupid pick. Stupid pick.
Yeah.
There were 2 punters that were drafted, Ferris said. And we got one of them. Congratulations.
Way to go.
Congratulations. So the punter we picked up as a nobody. Listen, first of all, I up the skull. We're all somebody, okay? And the punter that we drafted, he ain't Ray Guy, okay?
You don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he is.
So, like and subscribe says he's really good. All right, all right. He's a punter. Don't draft punters. I don't care how good he is. Don't draft punters. Okay. I don't want to fall in love with any punter. I don't want to be punting the ball like that.
Right.
Who's the Chiefs punter? We don't know. Is the Chiefs punter any good?
Could not.
Nobody knows. Nobody cares because they're about scoring touchdowns. I don't care about a punter. I don't care about a kicker. I want touchdowns. Touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, don't draft them. I think I'm going to. I can't remember what answer I gave earlier. I can see as many as 6 players at some point during these 4 years. I can see 6 players working out for the team, and we re-signing about probably 4. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Adelia. Ravens signed punter Luke Elzinga in early April. He was undrafted out of Oklahoma last year. He's never kicked in the NFL.
Well, this kid might make the team then. Elzinga ain't gonna make it. One of them is not going to be on the team.
That's going to be an intense battle.
Yeah. One of them won't be.
XVYJZ says, you say that now until the Steelers game. Well, if we play some defense and not give up touchdowns after we score a touchdown, that wouldn't be an issue. Hey, you know who it was an issue for? The Texans.
Right.
Did the Texans say, damn, if only we had a kicker? No, they just ran through
them. Field position does matter. You know how you flip field position? Moving the ball.
Yeah.
and listen, I'm not unless they hike the ball to this punter and he turns around and kicks it out the back of his own end zone for a safety. I'm not going to come in here on a Monday or or on Wednesday and be like, man, if only we had punted better this weekend. Like, I promise you, the offense or the defense did something to lose that game before I get to the punter.
Yo, have we ever? I mean, yes, punters will get talked about here and there, but have we ever said, man, the punter really screwed up this?
Like,
week?
it has to be monumental. Like, John Casey kicked the ball out of bounds on a kickoff in the Super Bowl, and that still wasn't even 100% his fault. They cheated. Yeah. Like, nah, man.
Oh, we hit a soft spot. Oh, there's the Steelers fan. He says Ravens are not the Texans. Okay, sure.
No, they're much better than the Texans.
Yes. I mean, they got their heads kicked in by the Texans, so he's just like, well, they beat us, not you. So yes, I would say six players will end up working out. The reality is all 11 of these picks, I don't care how much you like them, they're not all going to work out here. Some of them will end up being good, but we don't re-sign them. Like Jacoby Lane. Everybody saying, hey, look out for Jacoby Lane. I think he's going to need some time to develop. I think it's a matter of how long it takes for him to develop, whether he's going to work out here or not, right? If it takes 3 years for him to kind of put things together, that 1 year where he breaks out isn't going to be enough for him to stay here in Baltimore. You know what I mean? Especially if Elijah Surratt really takes off.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if they're both good, one of them's leaving anyway. Like, they're not going to re-sign both of them. And
yes, correct. Yes. So there's that too. Tight ends, if they're both good, they'll both stay because the rumor was, they were high on Kenyon Sadiq. They were willing to go Kenyon Sadiq in the first round. I believe if Harbaugh didn't get Andrews that contract, he'd have been out the door. Like, he would not have come back. And they are bringing in tight ends because this is a 1 year thing. I know he signed a 3-year deal, whatever. This is a 1 year thing, I think, with Andrews. After this year, you're out. Right. I think those two tight ends, if they could come in and play well, they're going to show Andrews the door. Right. They have their guys here. Yeah.
We'll see. But again, the vote or the poll is saying one thing unanimously, and that's that Carolina did their thing. Let's go ahead and bring out the Panthers draft and discuss the winners of the draft weekend 2026 in Pittsburgh, PA.
And make sure y'all hitting that like button. 120 people in here. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And also,
go ahead.
Hold on. Also, LBHTShow.com. The newsletter is back up. If you signed up before, you should have it. It goes out Mondays at noon. If you haven't signed up already, it's free. All right. Just put your email address at the bottom of the screen, and you'll sign up for the newsletter. It goes out once a week. It's a dope newsletter. All right. What we got here?
First thing I want to draw your attention to is the space at the bottom of this graphic, because we didn't hoard picks and just draft people just to draft them. We weren't doing little raffles to say, hey, make a pick for the Carolina Panthers. We had 7 picks in and out, did what we needed to do. Started off in round 1 with Monroe Freeling, the tackle out of Georgia, 20 or 21. I can't remember his exact age right now, but very young, very skilled, got a lot of potential here. He obviously needs to develop a bit, but he's going to be in the mix to start immediately. Ekwonu was injured. They signed Rasheed Walker to a 1-year deal with a lot of incentives because he's had some injury issues as well. So he'll be in the mix at left tackle, and I think there's a good shot at him winning it.
Freeling is 21.
And even if he doesn't win it, he is likely going to be the left tackle, moving forward. All right. So that's a great pick. They needed to reinforce the O-line. They need to start getting cheaper on the O-line. So that's much like Vega, a home run pick. What shade, bro? Y'all are the ones voting in the poll. I didn't vote in the poll. Y'all voted in the poll. I didn't vote in the poll.
I let B talk his trash because this. I mean, look, they've never won back-to-back division titles. Okay.
No. Yes, we have, sir. We have
I'm
never
sorry.
had back-to-back winning seasons. That's
Yes,
never
yes.
stopped us from winning the division before. We've won
My
the
bad.
division with a losing record 2 times. All right, so anyway, second round.
I stand corrected.
Yes, you do. The second round, they came back and they hit the defensive line. Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech. He is a bit of a force, right? He's a bit of a game record, not so much in terms of the pass rush necessarily, but you're going to put him right next to Derrick Henry, and they're going to clog up the middle of the field.
Derrick Brown.
Derrick Henry. Derrick Brown. They're going to clog up the middle of the field. They're going to stop that run game. And you know what? They already had a couple of other D linemen. They signed Tashawn Wharton, or last year they signed Tashawn Wharton and Bobby Brown. They brought both of them back, so they've got a healthy rotation. They've got Cam Jackson, who they drafted last year as well.
Lee Hunter and Derrick Brown are going to be game wreckers.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolute game wreckers.
And that's why I love the pick. You know, the front 7 in Carolina, or I'm sorry, the front 5 in Carolina. We're not gonna. Well, no. They signed Devin Lloyd also. There's just one spot that's lacking right now. But they've got Devin Lloyd, right? They got Derrick Brown. They drafted Lee Hunter. They got Nick Scorton, who they drafted last year. They signed Jalen Phillips. And like I said, they've got some pretty good role players in Wharton, Bobby Brown. They've got Cam Jackson, who they're bringing along still. They've got Princely, who they drafted last year. So I think they're deep and talented up front. Which is not something you've been able to say about the Carolina defense in a very, very long time. Trevin Wallace got to go, but that's neither here nor there. That we got, you know what? We don't play till September, right? We're going to have a plan for whoever's going to be playing next to Devin Lloyd. You know, so I think that they've done a great job of trying to build on both sides of the ball simultaneously. And you see here in the third round, they went and they got Chris Brazzell. As the team account said, they added some Brazzle Dazzle to the offense.
Brazzle Dazzle.
6'4", extremely fast. He's pretty small, slight for being 6'4", but hopefully, you know, you're not going to be having him take a whole lot of hits anyway. He's going to be out there to take the top off of the defense and open things up for Jalen Coker and Teteroa McMillan. I wasn't super high on that pick, you know, just because Tennessee offense and only playing on the one side of the formation. But I watched some more of him and I read some more in-depth scouting reports on him. I'm feeling better. And you look, speed kills regardless, right? So if he can catch it all, he's going to be a benefit to the offense. Then you come back on day 3. Let's go ahead and read this super chat before we get to that.
Hey, thank you, Kobe. Appreciate that.
I'm jealous. Carolina got Brazzell, who I rated over Lane. Everybody did. Everybody did. You know, listen, ain't nothing stopping you from being a Panthers fan, bro. Nothing.
Except one.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, winning football year in and year out. But go ahead.
Kwame says Young is Pavia's height, but not Pavia's skill.
Not at
moving
all.
on, 4th round, Will Lee the third out of Texas A&M, the man they called the blanket when he was playing in JUCO. They didn't call him that when he was playing at Texas A&M. He was a little more volatile at Texas A&M when he stepped up the competition level, but that's okay because again, he's not a starter. This is what they said a lot, and I
like a knitted blanket.
They're challenging the roster, right? So they're drafting players where they have guys, and they're just saying, hey man, you're gonna have to fight to keep your spot. Right?
Yes.
5th round, Sam Hecht. I know a lot of Ravens fans liked him. I thought that was a great pick for Carolina in the 5th round. You know, centers don't typically go super high. You know, the top centers will go higher, but you know, it's not a very valued position across the league, generally speaking. So you can get starting guys on day 3 at center if you are so inclined. And you know, Dan Morgan he grabbed this guy in the 5th round, and I think that he is going to push for that starting job this year. Whether he gets it or not, you know, we'll see. But another pick for the future for that O-line.
Now, Kwame, you know, he says right here, lots of teams passed on Heck. Yes, and you know, that tells me they don't see him as an immediate starter. Like he might need some developing. But for a team like Carolina, they already signed the center, right? So they like his potential. He could compete. If he's not ready yet, there's no need to throw him out there. So I think that was a great pick for them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can get out of the first round. Lots of teams passed on every one of these guys.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, lots of teams passed on Lee Hunter and Chris Brazzell too.
Yeah.
A whole lot of teams passed on Wheatley, the safety out of Penn State, who again is going to be brought in to challenge the starters, and Nick Scott. Not so much Merrick. I mean, he's solidified as a starter, but definitely Nick Scott.
Yeah.
Definitely challenging Nick Scott. They drafted Lathan Ransom last year, and as I say, you can never, ever trust a Buckeye. So luckily, we're going to be pushing him down the depth chart a little bit. I hope he can watch that Ohio State stink off him in year 2. We'll see.
Lord.
We'll see. 7th round, Jackson Kuwatch. That's all I got to say.
Jackson, who watch?
That's all I got to say about that. I don't know anything about Jackson Kuwatch. I looked into him a little bit, and they say he's pretty athletic, got good instincts and all that. But
chill. Hey, that's Kwame's alma mater. Chill with Ohio State.
I know. We draft players from there all the time. They don't work out. Jackson Kuwatch. I look at him the same way I'm looking at Diego Pounds. Like I said, for Baltimore. If he makes the team, then I'll be more interested. It is easier to find linebackers late than some other positions, but we'll see. I'm pulling for him. I hope he makes the team and makes an impact, because Trevor Lawrence got to go. But I'm not expecting much out of Jackson Kuwatch. But overall, I think you look at this draft, and they married talent to need very, very well. And something that I don't typically care too much about. They also got great value with these picks. I think Morgan did a fantastic job. They also, I do want to mention, they signed Haynes King after the draft. I just have to keep reiterating that Dan Morgan does not know quarterbacks, man, not at all. Like, I think they're going to try to Taysom Hill him, and have him kind of play multiple positions, particularly tight end, but my man does not know how to pick up quarterbacks. Like, that's the third straight trash quarterback they've brought in this offseason.
All right, so we can bring this down. What do you grade this draft, Chad? What do you grade this draft?
That's a solid A right there.
I give it an A. And also vote on the poll here. Type 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat to vote on this poll right under me here on the screen. All right. Yeah, I give it an A, right? That, like, maybe try to get a linebacker a little bit higher, right? Because there's a need there. Like Chris Brazzell, that's probably the spot where you could have gone linebacker, Yeah, but that's a small critique. You know what I mean?
They needed to address playmakers on offense. They needed to add speed to the offense. They absolutely had to.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Coker is good. Teterow is good. They are not fast.
I think you could make the argument they could pick. That's a team that can go into free agency and get somebody like Tyreek Hill or get somebody like Stephon Diggs, to play on the other side, right? But I don't have any problem with them drafting Brazzell either. It's a small critique, because you do have you got the one linebacker and you got some other holes there to fill, right? So you want to try to get somebody that can go out there and start. But I guess you can argue you can get that in free agency too.
XVY says, I don't know much about the Panthers. All you need to know is we winners, baby. All right, we winners, and we are ascending.
Hey, okay? Stick around. You'll learn something about the Panthers. All right, you'll learn something. Okay. The score says a B. All right. Tyree says B. Rainmaker, what's going on? Says, what's up, guys? Jose doing an evening check-in. See you in the morning. Nice draft. A. There you go.
Thank you very much, Rainmaker. He talking about the Panthers.
Yes.
I know. I'm letting everybody else know that he's talking about the Panthers.
Jay says A. McKnight says A. Okay. All right. I see you guys voting some more in the chat. Okay. I see the Panthers fans are coming in here saying Panthers are good. Ravens not so much. A little hating. All right.
that's not what's happening. I do want to.
Don't let me influence your opinion here, okay?
I'm not influencing anybody's opinion. I want to say shout out to the Ravens fans in here for keeping it real. Y'all know what you're talking about, all right? And you're not hating on Carolina just because they're the other team that we're talking about. Like, you recognize the good draft when you see it, right? And you recognize that EDC slipped up a bit, okay? And that's
a little
fine.
bit.
That's fine.
Like overall, look, we're all pretty happy with our draft picks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
Both
overall.
teams did very well.
What's up, Ashley?
What's going on, Ashley?
How you doing?
Baltimore did very well. Baltimore added a lot of talent. They just need to address that one position in particular, because it's not even interior D line. They'll survive an interior D line assuming Matabike is healthy, right? They just need to address center, and then it's fine. But the players that they picked, I think they did very well.
Going back to that for a second, let's pull up what EDC said about the center position. This from Jamison Hemsley says Ravens GM Eric DaCosta on WBAL radio said center position is in a state of flux. DaCosta quote says, it didn't work out for us this past weekend. I think there may be some potential trades we can look at and some other things we can do to address that position. So there is he recognizes, hey, we kind of messed up there a little bit. I appreciate the acknowledgement, right? I appreciate him not saying, oh well, this is part of the plan and this is the season doesn't start until September. Yeah, we know that, right? But we're asking you about that right now. And he said, hey, we try to get a guy in the draft. We didn't, but now we're going to pivot to something else. And the fact that he said we could possibly address this via trade tells me he's been working the phones, right?
Well, the other thing it tells you, honestly, is those days of, man, there's going to be a bunch of starters cut, after June 1st. Those days are mostly gone. You don't see the influx of talent and that next wave of free agency as much as you used to.
Right.
Teams find ways to keep their more talented players, whether it's straight pay cuts or restructured, whatever it is. And the guys that are hitting the streets aren't guys who you can bring in to plug your holes, right? I was looking at Spotrac and the currently available free agents, and come on, Jackson Kuwatch, all right? Because I didn't really see a whole lot out there that I would want to bring in. So really pulling for the Miami of Ohio alum.
Yeah. I mean, but that might be the same thing for you guys, where you might have to look via trade at somebody. Now, that's one thing we haven't really talked about, like some trade candidates. Look, for offensive line, it's extremely difficult. But like I mentioned before, Ozzie did it before to get a starting left tackle, which is mind blowing that he was able to pull that off. Yeah. But Ozzie's still in the building. Ozzie still has relationships with a lot of these different GMs and teams and whatnot. And EDC's been around for a while too. So maybe they called around and there are some teams showing interest. And I did a little digging via Chat GPT. Okay. And Chat GPT is extremely accurate. These AIs, they're so accurate. I'm being very sarcastic when I say that. They are not accurate at all. But I put in there, I said, who are potential trade candidates for center? One name popped up. They put a few names up there, and I did some digging. I was like, no, that's not actually true. But one name popped up that we could be on the lookout for, and that's Cesar Ruiz, right, for the Saints. Now, he doesn't play center right now, but he came into the league playing center.
Yeah.
Right. He came out the draft playing center. And he's not great. He's had an up and down career, and he's going into he has one more year on his contract after this year. And that might be somebody that they're like, look, and they drafted a guard, I believe. So that might be somebody that they might be looking to move on from this year for the right price. And if he comes in and plays center for us, don't expect greatness, but he'll be solid at the very least, and only 26 years old. So, there's an option there. She said, I heard Alejandro in the waiver needs a job. I'm sure he does. Or he doesn't. I'm sure he's made enough money. Okay. He doesn't need a job. Might have to see if Embry Jones can snap the ball as well. That's I mean, explore all options. But I hope it doesn't come down to we had to have a internal workout, a competition to see who gets that job. I hope
Well,
we just have a clear answer there.
yeah, the other thing is, I believe this was from Mitchell Schwartz, the former right tackle of the Chiefs. He always says, "You don't move guys around on the O line." Right? His thing was like, "Hey, if guys get hurt, put in the backup. Don't say, hey, my right tackle's hurt, so I'm gonna move my left tackle to right tackle." Because now what you did is you just made two positions weaker, right? Because your left tackle's not as good on the right side as he is on the left. So Emory Jones, they say they think he's going to be a great guard. They think Vega is going to be a great guard. Let those guys play guard. And you go and you go do your job and figure out center. Let those guys play the position that they play the position that they're best at. And having two very good guards, if it turns out that way, will help whoever ends up being the center anyway.
Yep. Well, and also I've I compare it to this too, right? When we're talking about just moving O linemen around, the O line, taking them from one position to another, especially if like tackle to guard to center. It's like, how would you feel if we said that about the defense, right? You say, hey, we got Aeneas Peebles at D tackle. Everybody loves Aeneas Peebles. Try him out at edge. Why can't these people play edge? Why can't we just say, hey, you know what, Travis Jones, let's throw you out on the edge, right? Because they're not edge rushers. They're D tackle.
They're not edge rushers, so give them the opportunity.
It's a completely different position, right? It's the same thing on the O-line.
Don't act like Hard R. Ricard wasn't dominating the D tackle. We get a super chat. Thank you very much, JR. He says, should have just
do her job, B.
I thought you were bringing that. My bad. Should have just paid Tyler, Mark, and Simpson dead weight. That was Tyler Brett right there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and what you're talking about is, John Simpson is making $10 million a year, and $13 million for Mark Andrews. That's $23 million right there. What Tyler Linderbaum was getting paid is $27 million. That's what got him out the door, right? And people are saying that's too much money. Well, we found $23 million for you right there. Yeah. Okay, $23 million. And listen, I don't want to pile on Mark Andrews. I like Mark Andrews. I love his professionalism, other than not answering questions after you drop the ball in a playoff game. But overall, Mark Andrews is one of those players he's going to bring it, whether he plays well or not. And really, the times he doesn't play well is in the playoffs. But he's all heart, and I respect that. But
Columbus says enough Mark slander. No,
it's not.
Never.
I'm talking good about. This is not slander right now. Got a lot of love for Mark. Mark had a lot of great moments here, a lot of great moments.
Yeah.
But if he didn't get that deal done mid-season, he wouldn't be here right now. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't be here, and that's a lot of money to commit to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a lot, especially when you have more pressing needs. And it just seems like it's clear that he's not the tight end that this coaching staff wants to keep.
But you can't put a price on them regular season touchdowns against the Browns, can you?
They're entertaining. I'm not going to take those away. They're entertaining for sure. So, but yes, there is not you, Jose. Listen, if you can't get a single touchdown in the playoffs, man, I'm sorry. Like that's just unacceptable.
I do feel bad for Mark. I really do. Like honestly, because he is a very, very talented player. He's been a very good player for Baltimore for a long time. Seems like a good guy. And just catching that 2-point conversion would have wiped out all of the past no-shows of the playoffs in one play.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate.
All right. We're going to wrap up the poll here soon. Type in the chat one more time and give you guys an opportunity. Type 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then we'll wrap up this poll. It's 70% good for both teams, and it's 23% Panthers good, Ravens not so much, because he rallied up the Panthers faithful to go in there and vote.
Or we have an audience of truth tellers. Truth tellers and ball knowers. Right?
So I'll give you the opportunity to go in there and vote. All right, we got some ones in the chat. Got some ones. Okay,
listen to your little speech, rallying some sympathy for the Ravens.
They're showing love to your team as well. One is good for both teams.
I understand that. I understand that. But
exposed.
But 4 is good for the Panthers. 1 is good for both.
Hey Ty, you gotta type 3 without the exclamation point. It doesn't count that. Don DeWan, you put -4. You gotta put 4. You just gotta put 1 digit. You can't put anything after that. You gotta put 1 digit. All right.
I said
nothing,
5. Nothing against nothing against anybody in here. But YouTube polls be kicking people's ass every time.
Do you remember what we used to do? We don't have to bring that back. The court of public opinion, and you say put the hashtag to vote on who was guilty.
They just be like, no.
Right, they put hashtag everything but what we told them to put,
and then they'd be like, "Oh, just guilty."
Yeah.
Nah.
All right. We'll end the poll here. The overwhelming majority says good for both teams, and we agree. This was a very good draft. You should be happy if you're a Ravens or a Panthers fan about this draft. And hearing EDC talk about possibly trading for a center, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like that they're working the phones and they have a plan, they're developing another plan. And again, they don't have to be as good as Tyler Linderbaum, just good enough, right? This O-line could look very good, especially if Emory Jones beats out John Simpson. I don't care what we paid him. If Emory Jones is a starter and Vega's a starter and we find a solid center,
it's better overall. JR, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, so we all going to the Ravens versus Panthers game. Y'all want to be upset?
We might have to. Where's it going to be? Is it in Baltimore or is it in?
It's in Charlotte.
All right, we might have to work something out. That might have to be a road trip. We'll see. We'll call up Rashad and Dave, Panthers Nation podcast. We'll call up Aaron Duncan and see they got spare room for us. All right, we might have to make a trip out there. John Simpson gets too many penalties. Yep, sure does, and we brought him right back.
But every penalty is a sack averted. So
yeah,
I don't think he can have too many.
Do you want 5 yards lost on penalty or 5 yards lost on sack?
and potential injury. Rolling that 20 side die on Lamar's future every time.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to court of public opinion. I want to start with this Le'Veon Bell thing, right? I say Le'Veon Bell because he's talking about it. This is really about Adam Gase. You guys remember Adam Gase? Used to be the coach for the
Jets.
Well, Jets and the Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he coach both of them? Yes. Because the Dolphins is where he had the one coach who was
Forster.
Yeah, Forster, who was he was recording himself snorting a white substance, as they reported at the time. They didn't want to use the C word, right? And he was sending it to his stripper girlfriend. Well, he thought it was his girlfriend, and she was like, "You ain't my man," Yeah. He was doing that in the team facility. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you guys don't remember, haven't even heard of that, because when coaches do things like this, that's not, that doesn't really make news. It doesn't make the rounds that well.
He's still in the league too.
He's still in the league. Is he still with the 49ers?
I believe so, but I'd have to check.
So after that, and me and B always felt that way about Gase, right? About like, man, is he on something too? But this video right here, you can bring this up in a second. This video right here kind of confirms some of our suspicions. This is Le'Veon Bell on a podcast, and I cut it down. It's a 5-minute clip that I found. I cut it down to about 2 minutes, and I had to blur out a couple of things because he's going in. But it's worth going and checking it out. It's hilarious. We're going to go ahead and play the clip.
The worst teammate you had?
The worst?
Like somebody you really couldn't stand. Like, I really hate this dude.
I got to use a teammate or make it a coach, bro.
Shit, both.
Adam Gase, bro. That Adam Gase, bro. He might have been the dumbest coach ever. Hey, chat. Look, I promise you.
Hey, chat.
Bro, if it's 2nd and 9 If it's 2nd and 9 and Adam Gase is the coach, I promise you, I bet you bottom dollar on it, he's calling a halfback dive. He's calling a halfback dive if it's 2nd and 9. Every time. Bro, there's not been one play, like one time where I was in the huddle and it was 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 10, and the play coming in and he did not call a dive, bro. Anytime I look at that yard marker at the sideline and I see the play getting ran in, bro, I don't even listen to the play. I line up, bro. I just start lining up, bro. Like, I already know the fucking play, bro.
Worst coach in the NFL.
Worst coach ever. He should not ever, bro. He shouldn't coach Little League, bro. He was terrible.
Wow. What else you gotta let out, man? Go ahead, bro. This is a therapy session. Fuck it.
Nah, but shit
What
be built up, bro. That's what I'm saying. But like,
what else, man? Just go. Like, we gonna call this the Le'Veon rant. I'm gonna give you a minute to just vent about
Adam Gase terrible, bro. Adam Gase terrible, bro. I'm trying to think, but we like, cause you move fast forward to that shit, bro. I don't even know if I want to say that because he did a lot of shit in that office that coaches ain't supposed to be doing. But that's why he ain't no coach. But he should never even be in.
Hold on, what he was doing in the office?
Bro, y'all know that, bro. Y'all know that white girl. Yeah, he. Get the bro. Hey, bro. Yo, bro. Bro, I'm like, bro. I ain't just walking in the office and see my coach. We might go to practice, bro. We got practice in 28 minutes. We got walkthrough, bro. This is what you doing in here. Yeah.
You ain't see him sniff coke, bro.
My own too. Well, my own too. Hey, not just once though. It was just one time. That's what he did though. Everybody know that. That's what he did. But it was just crazy to me that I actually seen him doing it. I heard all the stories and shit. Yeah, that Adam Gase is on that coquina.
So now I know typically when players say something about coaches, GMs, or whatnot, the media tends to try to write it off, because they'll say, "Oh, you gonna believe Le'Veon Bell?" Le'Veon Bell. They'll try to pull up all the things that he's done and antics that he's done and say, and kind of disregard what he's saying there, right? But he also, I didn't put that in the clip, but he talked about like the smell and sauce that he would sniff during the games, and that was on tape. You can go back and see it, and they showed a clip in that clip right there. Like they actually showed the part where where he's sniffing sauce on the sideline, and Le'Veon Bell brought that up, right? And the simple fact that one of his coaches on his staff was already caught, sniffing coke,
allegedly,
yes, or white powdery substance, in the facility before practice, right? Tells you that there was at the very least a culture there, right? Adam Gase in one of his interviews famously kind of zoned out. Remember that one?
Yeah.
They asked him a question. He's just like, looking all over the place, right? That's 100% true. I believe that 100%. What do you guys think? You think you believe Le'Veon Bell? You think he's embellishing a little bit? I think he's telling 100% truth there, and I think if you ask other players, they'll be like, "Yep."
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. I mean, he turned into one of my favorite memes where he's sitting at the press conference, sitting at the table and just looking around as somebody put a little animated taco, like he's following a taco around the screen. Like, he always just looked like he was a little off, like he wasn't all there.
Yeah, that was his introduction presser. Yep, when they're introducing him.
And so, I don't doubt that Le'Veon saw that. I don't doubt what he's saying. I mean, I don't know why you bringing it up now, but like it is what it is, I guess.
Allegedly. I think it's gossiping. That ain't gossip. If you remember, it was his O-line coach that got caught. Got caught. He did it on camera.
Yeah.
Right. And he was coked out his mind. Go look it up. You can find it out there. He did it for he was sending money to the stripper, and I think she was in Vegas, and he was professing his love to her and saying he wished he was doing it off her belly button or whatever.
Mhm.
And I mean, that was right there. I mean, film study going on in this room. He's in the room across the hall doing it. All right.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wild.
Because then the question is, you didn't know that your offensive line coach was doing that? Like he had such an issue that he's doing it in the facility, and you didn't know? You probably knew. You were probably fine with it because you probably doing it too.
Look, I'm all for second chances and whatnot, but in a league where players are judged harshly in the media, and coaches in front office are supposed to be held to a higher standard. He went to rehab. He went to rehab, and that didn't really affect his career. I mean, I don't think he was ever going to be more than just a position coach, but he's still working.
Mhm.
And it just didn't get talked about. It just didn't get talked about. It went to the media rotation for a day or two, and then it was out. It cycled out.
But just imagine if whoever it is, we'll just say Rosengarten got caught doing that.
Mhm.
That would be the first thing that was said about him every single place he went after that.
Yep.
Everywhere he signed, no matter what, it would be Roger Rosengarten, who in 2027 was caught on video. Like it would never go away. It would never go away.
Yeah. Puka's in rehab. Yeah. And that's all you're going to hear about this year. It's him being in rehab. Right. So, it's a little dope standard there, but I thought that was hilarious because when he said it, I was just like, oh yeah, he definitely that's 100% true.
Yeah.
That's 100% true. The second story,
I think I'm sorry. I was gonna say I think that generally speaking, we should probably believe players more often when they tell these stories, because you have this image of coaches being these authority figures, and they're above the players and they're more mature and all that. They are exactly like the players.
Yeah,
and far worse in some cases. I mean, you remember there was another case like this, Junior Gillette, when he came out and was like, Sean Payton is on all of that. And nobody wanted to believe Junior Gillette because everybody loves Sean Payton. But Sean Payton don't even try to hide. Like he acts like he's still a frat boy. Like he don't even try to hide that part. So I mean, I don't know.
Kwame says, I think he should sue Bell. Sue him for what? Defamation? So here's the thing: when you sue people, though, right? You sue them for defamation, and then they go into discovery, and you have to, everything you say is under oath now, right? His lawyer, his lawyer gets to ask Le'Veon Bell questions. Le'Veon Bell's lawyer gets to ask Adam Gase questions. And listen, man, you can risk lying under oath, but they can ask you a lot more, right? What did you do anything else? Did you do anything else at work? Right? They can start asking you a whole bunch of things, and now a lot more stuff gets exposed.
Right, and it's only a crime if it's false.
Right. To force them to prove it, but is it worth it? Right? Like yes, okay. You could say, hey, like he doesn't have any evidence of it or whatever.
He doesn't have to prove it. You have to prove that he's lying about it.
Yeah. And again, does he want to risk lying under oath and then you get in trouble for that, right? Because they're going to ask you these questions. They're going to ask you, have you done with anybody else? Because clearly, is Forrester going to lie for you? You clearly were doing it with him, right? It's clearly, were other coaches doing it? That's the big one, right? Because Forrester already got caught in 4K, literally, right? Were there other coaches that did it? Were there other coaches that knew about it? Are they all going to tell you the same story? That's the other one, right? Because it's you go to trial, you go to court, we can call whoever we want as witnesses. Are they all going to have the exact same story? Now you're exposing a lot more people.
Yeah, Kwame. In this scenario that you're talking about, Gase is the one alleging.
Yes.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell said what he said. If you sue him, you're saying he's lying. he's I always forget which one is written or spoken, but he's slandering me. You have to go prove that he's lying.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell don't have to prove anything.
Yeah. And again, when you go to court and you start calling other witnesses, are they going to tell the same story that Adam Gase is telling?
Yeah.
Right. Because the first person I'll call is Forrester, but like, hey, we know you did it, right? Yeah. Adam Gase, remember you're under oath. Did Adam Gase do it too? Yep, he did it. Hey, case closed. Do you have tape? Yep, I got tape. They didn't seem too responsible with it. Sugar says, I was going to sue LBHT about slandering me. Then I thought better. That's right. You know better, Sugar. B, that's absolutely wrong. Don't miseducate, bro. You made an allegation. You have to prove it. No, Kwame, no. That's not wrong. Listen.
And again, what you're talking about, you're talking about Adam Gase suing him. So
Right.
That's Adam Gase saying that Le'Veon broke the law. They have to prove that. Le'Veon doesn't have to prove what he said is true. You have to prove that he knew that he was lying about you, that he knew that to be false and he was saying it anyway. That's what you have to prove.
Yes. So if you're saying B is miseducating people here, right? If B says I'm going to sue you for slander, can you say I miseducate people, right? B has to prove that you slandered him, that you're making a statement saying that B is miseducating people, and this is it, and this is why, right? B has to prove his case in court, right? You just saying something isn't you don't have to go out there and make proof of that. And listen, you're saying he should sue, right? You're saying that assuming that he didn't do it. He hasn't said anything about it. What if he gets asked? He's like, "Yep, I did." Right? You're just making an assumption that because Le'Veon, again, this is to B's point where we're talking about players and they're not being heard. Right? You just went to the assumption that okay, Le'Veon Bell is making this up, right? But we know for a fact that Adam Gase's own coach on his staff did it. We've seen how he acts a little quirky in these. I mean, in the intro, in his introductory presser, he was zoned out. We've seen signs that make you think something's up. And what Le'Veon Bell is saying right there is, yeah, what you see with your own eyes is true. So why would you feel like he's slandering him?
XB1 says, why did he name drop? He could have said a coach I had was doing coke. I mean, look,
because he wanted to.
Why not? If you're the real answer, because he wants attention. And he knew that would bring some attention. The guy asked him, who his worst teammate was, and he said teammate or coach, and he said, both. And so he doesn't have, or he feels like he doesn't have any reason to hold back. He's not playing anymore, and he doesn't have any relationship with Adam Gase. So he said, yeah, it was Adam Gase.
I don't think it was necessarily for attention, right? Like when you played any sport or whatever, right? Like players do that. You go back, you talk about players that you didn't like, coaches that you didn't like. People will do that, and his career's over, and it's one of those things. I feel like for some people, it's understood. Like this guy sucks, right? It's just understood. Like that wasn't breaking news that Adam Gase can't coach, and he's just talking about like his experience, and yeah, the coke thing and everything. Like, yes, it was funny, and again, that's one of those things that people kind of suspected, and I don't have any problem with it. Like, why? Let me ask you this: why do you feel like players should protect coaches when coaches don't look out for the players' best interests?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like when these stories come out about players, who do you think leaks them? You know what I mean? Like coaches do the same thing to players. They don't put their name on it, but they leak these stories. Ty Riggs, thank you for the super chat. Says, I'm suing Brodny for all the Ravens draft slander. Facts. Sue him now.
Bring it.
All the man has is his name. Kwame, again, you're working with the assumption that he didn't do it. First of all, why would you assume that he didn't do it? Why? With all the circumstantial evidence around him to suggest that he probably did do it. Right? Why would you go to, oh well, he should sue him? So like that's giving bad legal advice too, right? Hey, you should go and sue for slander, but I did it. Right? So he has to go. So you want the man to go and lie under oath, right? He has to go and lie under oath. And when Le'Veon's legal team goes and gets the other coaches and witnesses to corroborate what he says, then what? Then what? And don't let more come out, because that's the thing that you risk, right? Oh well, he didn't just do coke. He also did this. He also did this with this person, right? Now, that's why things like this, the best thing to do is just not say anything. Circumstantial evidence is his assistant was using, so he was too. Well, again, Kwame, that's why
not what Le'Veon said, though.
Right. No, that's not what he said. I'm saying like that's what you can point to, right? You can point to there was an atmosphere of this, and no, that's not what he said. But these are things that you can ask when you go to court. You can ask them straight up, and you're avoiding my question. Why are you assuming that Adam Gase didn't do it? Don't avoid the question. Why do you think he didn't do it? Why are you working with that assumption that Le'Veon Bell is lying?
And to be fair, that's usually a pretty solid assumption, but not in this case. I won't
even say that. I don't know Le'Veon Bell like that.
Le'Veon's kind of.
He's I mean, just because somebody's a little out there doesn't mean they're lying, right? I don't know anything that he's actually lied about. To support his claims, Bell would need to provide evidence or witness that corroborate his account of Gase's behavior. I would love for them to hash it out in court. But again, Kwame, that is bad advice.
He doesn't have to prove anything.
No, he does have to prove anything. Yeah, exactly. You're right, B. He doesn't have to prove it. Adam Gase has to prove that Le'Veon Bell slandered him, right? He doesn't have to bring all this evidence. And the dangerous part is, what if he does have evidence? Right? That's the part you don't. If you know you're doing dirt, if you know you're doing things you shouldn't be doing, you don't bring more attention to yourself because somebody pointed it out. That's what you don't do, right? Because what if he does have tape on it? What if he has other witnesses to corroborate that story? What if other people get dragged into it? Right? Now it blows up into something that you didn't want it to be, because your ego, because your emotions, for something that you absolutely did. So no, he did it. He's guilty. Okay. we this is the only court that matters. We decided Adam Gase is guilty. All right. We'll go real quick. Let's do this other thing real quick. We can spend a lot of time on this, but we'll pick it up another time. But consensus boards. You guys know what consensus draft boards are? B, do you want to explain to the people what consensus draft boards are?
Consensus draft board is essentially just it's a compilation of data. You have multiple draft analysts who will rank the prospects in an upcoming draft, kind of like an overall big board. And then whoever is compiling the consensus board will essentially, I mean, they have different ways that they all do it, but they essentially average out the positions or the different rankings that they get from everybody, and they come to a consensus big board. So like if everybody, you ask 10 people and they all have Vega as the number 10 prospect on their big board, he ends up number 10 on the consensus board, right? But also if one person has him number 1 person has him number 10, he's 5, right? So it just depends on where all the different rankings have, and they the reason that they exist, the reason people do them, you want to get a lot of different opinions, informed opinions, and put together a big board because like everybody says, draft is a crapshoot, right? Nobody is right 100% of the time. So you get as many opinions as you can. And then that kind of gives you an idea of these players' actual value and where they might actually go in the draft. And then they use that to kind of judge the actual draft classes that the teams have and say, hey, you took this player at pick 27. The consensus board has him ranked 93. That's a bad pick. You reached. Or not even that it's a bad pick, but you reached versus the consensus opinion on this player. Or, hey, you got this guy at 105 and the consensus board has him ranked 47. That's a steal. Because he's a much better player than we think he's a much better player than the position he was picked in.
Yeah. Now, this is a season of draft Twitter beef, right? Every year, you get people going at each other on Twitter over their analysis or something, draft Twitter related. Draft Twitter meaning like you have a bunch of people that they put out mock drafts. They do they have their formula to rate players and whatnot. And a lot of people put a lot of work into these things, right? And it's a resource. It's a reference point. And these are resources that teams absolutely use, right? We look at a lot of Matt Waldman stuff. Matt Waldman does a lot of detailed analysis, really for fantasy football, for dynasty football leagues. But he has been hit up in the past to he's been recruited to be a scout for NFL teams. That's how in depth his scouting report is. Like you purchase his scouting report, it's 1,200 pages.
Yeah,
1,200 pages.
Incredibly in-depth scouting reports with different ratings for all the different parts of a particular position's game and how difficult it is to improve those positions as well. How likely it is for the player to improve that particular skill. So it's called the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. If you're interested, you should definitely take a look. It's outstanding work every year.
Yeah, but the point we're getting with is this. This drama started over the weekend after the draft when I can't remember who it was that Sharp Warren. Well, Warren Sharp was calling out the Jaguars and the 49ers for basically kind of going against the consensus board.
There were a few different fronts in the consensus war. Pete Prisco was also going at basically saying if you use a consensus board, you're an idiot.
That's where it ended up, right? So you have more people that are kind of like established in the media that are saying consensus boards are a joke. These teams don't use them. You have Sam Munson from Pro Football Focus saying teams absolutely use consensus board is real and teams absolutely use them. And there's a lot of back and forth and basically saying, hey, if you use a consensus board, if you're listening to these people on Twitter or whatnot, you're an idiot. And I think that's the exact opposite. If you're not
just rich coming from Pete Prisco.
Right.
But,
right. Sherelle, what's going on? Thanks for coming through. If you're not using every resource available, that's the dumbest thing. There are consensus boards, right? They're not all the same. But if you're not using a consensus board, that's how you end up reaching for players that you shouldn't be reaching for, which is why the 49ers GM John Lynch is getting called out right now, which is why the Jaguars are getting called out right now, because you need to know, and this is part of your job as a GM, you need to know where players are going to be in the draft or have an idea. You like this player and he might be high on your board, but where is he projected to go? Right? If he's not projected to go there, and you don't always want to risk it, but if nobody's going to give him in the first round, like the quarterback that the Rams took, right? That's a reach, or if you feel like, hey, I want to get him in the next round, but he's projected to go in the second round. I don't want to risk it. I'll take him now. That's a justifiable reach, But if somebody's clearly not going to go into the fourth round, like nobody has that higher grade on him, he's probably not going to, he's not going to go in the first or second. All right, we can maybe grab him in the third. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's for.
For this particular draft, one reach that they pointed out was Kalen Black. They took him in the second or third round, and a lot of people had him projected as a seventh rounder, right? So that's a big reach, right? But the Jacksonville Jaguars. So in the draft, there's like 200 and 260, somewhere around there, 260 players or so that get drafted. The Jaguars drafted several players who were ranked on the consensus board lower than 400, right? So like you're not talking about, oh well, maybe somebody's going to grab him next round and you just want to grab. Like these are guys who, some of these teams may not even heard of, right? Like they're not in anybody's mind, and they're ranked so low, and you're drafting them much higher than anybody could have possibly foreseen them going. And that's why these analysts are talking about the Jaguars and talking about the 49ers. And look, the 49ers, this has been a long thing with them. They used to draft all of the injured players, right? Because they're out thinking you. Hey, this guy was a top prospect. He got hurt, and now he's going to sit out a year. So we're going to draft him a year early, and that's like getting a bonus pick next year. They didn't pan out, and I think it's one of those situations of a couple of teams, a couple of GMs kind of outsmarting themselves. You don't want to be stuck with what everybody else is doing. You don't want them to be able to kind of predict what you're going to do, and kind of like the Baltimore thing. We zig when everybody else zags or whatever, and sometimes that's valuable, and sometimes you just screw yourself.
Look, it's been made a big deal of on social media, right? You see a lot of these people go back and forth. I think it's funny because they all have something to sell you, right? Because they're accusing one or the other, like of, oh, you're just doing this because you're selling a product. Well, so are you.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're all selling something. It's fine, but the fact is, you better be using every resource available to you when you're making these decisions. If you're not looking at something, because some of these people, man, like they put a lot more work in than these team scouts do.
Yeah.
Right. These are like, you have Arif, what's his name? Arif Hassan. You got Matt Wallman. You got Matt Harmon. There are tons of people that put hours upon hours, and they have systems that they've developed over years. They've refined them. Right. And they refine it in real time. They'll tell you, hey, I tweaked it. This was a little off. I noticed a pattern with this, like they're always working on it. If you're not looking at their work, even just as a point of reference, you're not doing your due diligence.
You're not at all.
Yeah.
But people like Pete Prisco, they're just old and they don't like new things. They don't want to change. They had these same opinions about Pro Football Focus when it came up. They were just a bunch of stat geeks and they didn't know anything about football and blah, blah, blah. And then Chris Collinsworth bought them and pumped a bunch of money into them. Now every single team uses Pro Football Focus extensively. And they're, one of the top outfits when it comes to NFL statistics. But yeah, it's meatheads versus the nerds, right? The old school media and coaches and everything. Like, I don't need any statistics, right? Because I know the game.
Yeah,
I watched the game. I had my hand in the dirt.
Right. Well, you can't measure grit.
Right. But and look, there's something to be said for that. Obviously, you have to watch film regardless. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with having more data to help you understand what you're seeing.
Absolutely. And no formula. If you're doing like no matter what you want to try, right? You have to be right.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the biggest issue with some of these teams. Like 49ers have had some more success than us recently, but they've been falling short. And you look over the last few years, the players that they drafted have not been working out. And it's okay if you want to try something different a year or two to see if it works. If it works, then cool. Nobody's going to question it. If you're reaching for a bunch of these players, but they turn out to be stars, then you can keep doing what you're doing because it's working. You're getting the players that you need and you're right about them. But the point is you have to be right when you're, whether you're doing it, based on the consensus board or not, you have to hit on your players. This is a results-oriented business, and we don't get results. People are going to question what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So consensus board on Brady. Well, he was picked in what, the 5th round or 6th round, something like that. You talking about Tom Brady?
But that's the kind of response that people give, right? That's why he's called an outlier.
Yeah, it's not. Like these boards are, and nobody that does that looks at these boards. Oh, seventh. Thank you, Adelia. Nobody looks at these boards will tell you.
I was in the 6th.
Oh, okay. But nobody that does these boards, and in fact, it's not one person that does these boards, right?
Yeah.
They it'll be somebody that compiles it, but it's based off of everybody's analysis. Nobody that puts these boards together will tell you this is 100% accurate, and this is what you do. Right. And that train of thought really like, oh, well, Brady went the 7th round, what if they got him in the 1st? Okay, cool. Well, Jamarcus Russell went 1st overall, what's the dude's name? Ryan Leaf went 2nd overall. For every Brady, you can name 10 absolute busts.
Yeah.
There's a lot more busts than steals. It's not 100%.
Using Brady, and I'm not saying that you're doing this comment, but using Brady to kind of disprove the consensus doesn't work because the NFL didn't get him right either.
No.
The NFL had him as a late 6th round pick, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not where the GOAT is supposed to get drafted.
Yeah. I mean, it's not 100%, right? But in general, what these people are finding out, these analysts are looking at is you draft closer to the consensus board, the more you'll hit on. It's never going to be an exact science because you just don't know. You don't know the full story on these players. You don't know who's going to grow in the NFL because some people are just different. Some people, for whatever reason, it didn't click in college, and then they get to the NFL, they get with the right coach, the right team, and the lights turn on, and they shine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's just not an exact science. I like to see what they're measuring. I remember Deion Sanders saying he wants players with family members in jail. That's probably not a winning formula that you want to go with.
But you can see like all the data is public. Like these things are very transparent.
Yes.
And they show what each individual person who submits their rankings, like they rank based on whatever they're ranking. They scout the players and they rank them however they feel. But when they put the boards together, the boards are public. The performance versus the actual draft picks are public. And Arif Hassan puts out an article every year talking about how the consensus board did versus how the real teams did. And it's just because for a lot of these guys, it's a fun side project. Like they like data, and they like studying things, and then it's an interesting thing to them. It's not, well, our board is better than NFL draft. Like nobody's saying that. Even if it's true, they wouldn't be saying that. Like they're just it's just a fun, interesting thing that they're doing on the side.
If you ever look at any of these people's like work, like Arif Hassan, Emory Hunt, Matt Harmon, Matt Wallman, you look at any of their work, they will tell you, look, we're doing this based off of what we see. Scouts, coaches, they're going to have more insight on these players. Teams are going to have more insight than we have because they're able to talk to the coaches and get a little bit more information. We base it off of what we see and who we talk to. They always preface that. They always say, hey, it's not an exact science. Just because we write something about somebody doesn't mean this is what they're actually going to be. They'll tell you that. But they do a lot of analysis. They do years of studying this. They track these things. They chart this stuff, right? And they compile the information, and and a lot of teams take that of value. A lot of teams hit up these people quietly, right? So they do find this valuable. So when you hear Pete Prisco, try to just kind of like, shoot it down, that's just being ignorant.
All right. We do have 3 submitted questions, and then we got to get out of here because
let's do it.
It's getting close. From Urban, thank you very much, Urban. He says, with people like RG3 saying the Ravens had enough before the draft this year in such bold, idiotic fashion, do you guys think the Ravens have enough to get to the Super Bowl currently?
Currently, right now, today, no. You have to get the center position. I can't stress that enough. You got to get the right center. But I feel like they can get it. Oh, we got to do the newsletter poll too. Thank you, Adelia.
Yes.
I think they can get that. And yes, they're close. Let me say that. They're close.
They do. I think they do have enough to get there currently, because every team has flaws. Every team that gets to the Super Bowl has flaws. Like you saw the Bengals got there with no O-line, right? So like if the coaching is that much better than what it was with Harbaugh, they have enough. But like every other Super Bowl team, they'd have to get lucky. There's always a little luck. JR says, how are you feeling about the team after the draft?
Feel good. I feel good. Again, that one concern is a major concern. Like, no team's gonna be perfect, but there's a difference between saying the O-line looks a little shaky and who's playing center. Like, you don't know who's playing the position. That's concerning. But no, overall, I feel good about it. B, how you feel about your team?
I think the Panthers are poised to win the division again.
I think so too. I think both of our teams are poised to win the
yeah, I said the Panthers. All right, so last one, Michael.
Yeah, well,
Michael,
you met Ravens too.
Do y'all watch the UFL when you have time? Nah. Like if there's a game on, like actually on the screen, and I enter a room, I'll watch a little bit of it, but like it's just not very good football. It just isn't.
So I'm gonna put this question out here, and we'll carry it over into the Overtime Show. Patreon.com/LBHTShow. If you want to hang out with us some more, we'll be over on the Overtime Show right after this for Patreon members and channel members. But I'm gonna ask y'all, do you think the NFL should start investing more in the UFL or some sort of developmental league, right? Because I'm hearing more and more people talk about the draft and how there's a lack of talent because the NIL deals and players are staying in college a lot longer and they come into the draft later. And it went from having talent, you can find talent in the later rounds, to like once you get past the fourth round, there's not a lot of draftable players out there. Well, I feel like it's time for the NFL to start a true developmental league or invest heavily in the UFL for that to be your developmental league, so you get the type of players that you're looking for.
Hey, we got one very late question. Sugar. He says, better late than never. Do the Lakers win tonight? Is the Lakers medical staff something to worry about with Luka missing another round? Lakers do win tonight. Austin Reeves is back for the game tonight. They're getting ready to start in about 10 minutes. Luka's not going to miss another round necessarily. They say he might miss the beginning of it, but he could be back during the second round. But no, I don't think it's anything to worry about. Like, they both got hurt at the end of the season. It is what it is. It sucks, but it happens sometimes. But yes, Lakers win tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Lakers win. Lakers win.
All right, now let's talk about the poll real quick, and then we got to get over to the Overtime Show.
All right. Wow. Are you happy with the Ravens and Panthers draft? Everybody said happy with both teams in the draft. I want to see these numbers get a lot higher. We just, that this is my fault. This is like 2 years of not putting out the newsletter, but I want you guys to go over to LBHTShow.com. We still got about 90 people in here. Go over to LBHTShow.com. This is free. It only takes 2 seconds. Put your email address in there. Sign up for the newsletter. We're going to be doing polls every week. All right. And we will talk about the results here on the show. And I'll be sending out reminders for you guys to sign up every Monday at noon. And thank you, Adelia, for helping us get this back online. All right. Okay. Patreon members, get ready. Overtime shows. Ty Riggs right on time with a super chat. Go ahead, Adelia. My bad. Appreciate that. Says, do you have to be athletic to be in NASCAR? That is going to be a topic on the Overtime Show. Are race car drivers, NASCAR in particular, are they athletes? Your boy Stephen A. Smith says no, which means it's yes. Whatever he says, whatever he says is the opposite. But we're going to talk about that on the Overtime Show, along with a bunch of other things. You want to check that out. All right. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. Patreon members, get ready. Overtime Show starting. B, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Adelia, are you ready? All right. Patreon members, channel members, Go ahead and tune over to the Overtime Show. Everybody else, have a great night, and we will see you next time. Peace.